Hello everyone, this is Samirin, and this is the second part of Building a Toy Box video series we've just started. In the last episode, we put together the logic in order to move the camera and the locator up there left or right, depending on player's movement, which we haven't programmed in. And we also put in a bunch of parameters, like if they reach the edge, it stops and won't let them go any further, and things like that. And so now we're almost ready to test it. We just want to put together a system that's going to allow us to use the analog stick of the controller to move that camera left and right. And we're going to do that with a little system I've designed before to do some of these things. And it's actually a clever little system. We're just going to show you how to start putting it together here. Basically, I'm going to put a checkpoint. It doesn't really matter where I put it. Right here. And I'm going to want a trigger area right there. And right there, to the left and right of that checkpoint. Don't have to get too fancy with the size yet. We will modify as we go. So the whole point will be, if the player moves left into this trigger area, that will be our left input. If the player moves right into this area, that'll be our right input. But we want it to be so that if I let go of the controller in here, I get pushed out and I end up in the middle. We're going to do that with weather vanes, and we're also going to put some blocks down. But let's drop our weather vanes first. We're going to have one facing that way, one facing that way, and I don't need anything that big, but just blocking it in a bit. So what we want to happen here is we want to set both these weather vanes to, I'm going to set them to 15 and to triggering active. And the whole goal here is when the player moves their character, let's say they move them into the left trigger area here, I want that weather vane pushing back against you so that you can't walk too far, and if you let go of the controller, it's going to push you out of the trigger area. So what we want it so that if a player enters that trigger area, we want to turn on that weather vane, and if they exit that trigger area, we want to turn off that weather vane. And we want to do the same on the other side to the weather vane pointed in the opposite direction. If the player goes into the trigger area, turn it on. If the player exits out of the trigger area, turn it off. And so let's just see how this is going to work. Here I am in the middle. If I go this way, see, I can't really run very far. If I let go, it slides me back to the middle. If I try to go this way, again, I can't get very far. When I let go, it slides me back to the middle. That's how we're faking out the user and thinking that I'm giving them control of the analog stick, when in fact, I'm just messing around with the figure and locking them into a little area. But it sure looks like this. What's happening is going to be happening by just you pushing the analog stick. So we've got that working. Now we want to use these trigger areas as the actual controls. So the trick here is when you turn on a camera, like we will be turning on the camera up here, your figure is going to orient themselves according to the direction that camera is pointing. So because that camera is pointing forward that way, then this trigger area will be the left. It has to be the left because of the way that camera is going to be facing. So if a player enters the left trigger area, we are going to send input to the logic chain that we have designed for the left control. And we'll do the same if a player enters the right trigger area. We're going to send an input to the right logic chain. Now, if the player leaves the trigger area, we want the camera and the locator to stop. So we're going to send, I think that's our stop message. Yeah, that's our stop message. So when they exit either of those trigger areas, we're going to send a stop message to the camera and to the locator. Okay. Well. What speed are we currently set at? I have a feeling 100 is going to be a little low, so I'm going to pump it up a bit. We'll test and see how it looks. Alright, well I think we're ready to give this a try. Almost. So we're going to set it. This little button is going to be our starting button since we've hooked pretty much everything else to it. The only thing I'm going to add in here is when I push it, I want to teleport to that checkpoint. Setting it to all players was actually a horrible idea. I should just set it to player 1, but we're just testing right now, so let's see what happens here. Alright, so we have that camera angle, and there's our locator there. Now I'm going to try to turn left and see what happens. And the camera is now going to the left. And let's see, and it stops right there. Excellent. Now I'm going to go to the right and stop, and I'm going to go to the left, and again it stops right there. I'm going to try and go left. I can't go left. Beautiful. I'm going to go right, and I'm going to go all the way as far right as I can. What just happened there? I think I messed something up. Oh, I should stop playing with the wand while I'm testing. Okay. Something's telling me my character's probably messed up. Oh yes, I see what I did. I've actually walked further than the trigger area could go. Fair enough. That explains a lot. Okay, I'm going to move right and go as far right as I can. Now that I've put the wall there, I should be fine. And there, I stopped at the right. I can go left. I'll go right again. There we go. So we have perfect control of the camera now, moving back and forth exactly like I want it. Love it. That is awesome. Okay, now a couple other things I want to do here. I want to see, I have an idea where the camera, I keep looking at where that locator is for a reason actually, because I want to use it to, I kind of want to have a circle radar marker on it and use that to describe an area of effect on the ground below from that camera's angle. Hopefully, we'll see if that works. So basically, I'm going to take that radar marker to that locator. And I want to set it to blue ring on the locator, turn it on. There, I kind of really want that effect where the circle is going to show. Now it's not going to work on the ground as it currently is, but that's because we've got to put the ground differently. That's not the end result of where the ground's going to be. I also really want slightly different. I'm not 100% happy with that angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mess with the vertical offset of the camera itself. Set it to 2 and see how that looks. So it's close, but I just don't like how that looks. Oh, there we go. This I like a lot more. Okay, that is good. Now, I want to actually see how big that circle is looking on the ground below. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put some blocks down. Basically, a block, then an empty block space, and then a block, then an empty. That way I can see how big of a space that circle is actually taking up from that camera angle. Because I want it to be about 5 or 6 blocks wide, I'm thinking. So let's see here. We're halfway into that. Oh, let's say we're 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say we're 5 or 6 blocks wide right there. I like it. Perfect. I wish I could get rid of that arrow and just keep the circle, but I think this is going to work. All right, beautiful. So let's just mess with the train a little bit here. I'm just putting this train in, and I'm going to put it slightly off kilter from each other to see which of them fit better with that camera angle. Oh, that one's close. It's literally half between the two. Awesome. I think it's right there. I basically want that circle to perfectly envelop the top to the bottom of the train. That's my real goal of what I'm trying. Oh, perfect. That is so awesome. That is going to work really well. Okay, so we've got our camera working, and we just messed around with the terrain to find a perfect spot to put that circle so that it really looks like it's going to fit perfectly with this terrain. Because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start having townspeople walk across this terrain like a sort of bridge. And I believe the main goal is going to be, if they're within this circle that we see right here, then if you hit up or down, you'll be able to move them away or towards you. But if they're not in the circle, you can't control them at all. So this is really the gameplay I'm going for here, and so far the circle is turning out perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. So in the next video, I'm thinking we are going to finish off a bit of this train to make the bridge, and then we'll probably start figuring out a way to test how big that circle is in actual size, so we can get a locator in there and start messing with dynamic trigger, just to get our sizes down perfectly, is I think what we will do next time. But again, thank you very much for joining me. I hope there's been a few things you've learned in here, and another video will be coming shortly. Have a great day.